morning, guys. And what is going on? Happy Saturday morning, of course. It's the weekend. This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are live to talk about last night's edition of WWE's Friday Night Smackdown. Yes, I was going to try to do it last night. Unfortunately, if you watched my AEW review, you saw I was losing my train of thought. I was sleepy. I got through most of one stream. I was not able to get through two. So, got a good night's rest, got cleaned up, the beard's gone, thank goodness, and I am back today to, of course, finish my little catch-up stream. Anyways, we're going to talk about SmackDown from last night, the October 21st, 2022 edition, and it took place in Toledo, Ohio. I made a mistake last week. We are 2 weeks now from WWE's Crown Jewel. I say Crown Jewel, well, Crown Jewel. I'll put it that way. Because they're, as of now, and this show did add a couple more matches. There's really only one match for Crown Jewel that I'm really, excited for. Which, of course, is Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. The rest, some are just fine. They're not, big, oh my god, I gotta see this match feel to me. I mean, I'm a tad more intrigued than I usually am for any of these overseas shows, because we all know how those are. But I'm just not as excited. I'm just not as excited as I was for Clash of the Castle or Extreme Rules. I don't know. It's not really popping me that much. But on this show, we did get some good storyline development though. So, because at first when I looked at the results, I'm like, C+, B- show, decent show, wasn't insulting, but wasn't the most standout one. There were a few more things though. After looking over it again, I realized, yeah, it's actually not bad. So, this did get my grade bumped up a little bit for this episode of SmackDown. So, of course, we have a little bit more to talk about than what I thought. But I don't want to be here too long. So, I'm going to, just talk about the stuff in depth that I want to talk about in depth. And the other stuff that I'm meh about. I'm going to say, this happened, move on. So yeah, let's roll into it. Let's talk about the show, and we will go from there. Sometime today or overnight, I will be uploading, though, a long video. It's going to be the next part of my Roller Coaster Tycoon Let's Play. That, of course, I cut out some of the fatty parts where, it's, not worth keeping in there. But, not too bad, I would say, for the first, multi-year one. And, of course, I just got a lot more content uploaded, too. So, make sure, of course, check out any of my other content if you'd like. Or if not, this is all you want to watch from me, that's fine, too. Any support, as always, I appreciate. Also, I realized lately, and I think I tweeted this last night, I have not been tweeting much lately during wrestling shows. Especially since, I've gotten, back into WWE and doing weekly live reviews, which I've loved. And, of course, AEW, I still enjoy despite all the drama. I gotta get back to tweeting more, because I always advertise my Twitter, but then again, I never tweet. The only time I really tweet more often is whenever I post a video. So, I do gotta get back in a groove with that, guys. And again, I do apologize, but, it is what it is. So, we'll roll in, we'll talk about this, and then we will go about our day. So again, we're going to talk about SmackDown. Again, October 21st, 2022, in Toledo, Ohio. We are 2 weeks away, again, from WWE Crown Jewel 2022. I will try, though, to still give it the benefit of the doubt and say it'll be a decent show. And I will still try to do preview and predictions. And I'll probably watch it for the first time. First time ever, I'll be watching a whole version of Crown Jewel. I think last year I watched a couple matches. I remember I watched Edge and Seth Rollins, the Hell in a Cell, and I gave Roman and Brock a shot too. But let's talk about this. So, the show opens up with the Brawling Brutes making their entrance, and then during their entrance, we see a brief cryptic promo of Bray Wyatt's Devil's Head thing giving off a message. We'll talk about him though in a bit too. We did have something okay thing here. But anyways, so we have that during the Brawl and Brutes entrance. And I also thought it was intriguing that they didn't stop the show during this cryptic message. Like, after the cryptic message was done, it's like they had already, like, continued to go through it. I'm like, wait, what did they say? Like, I thought that was different. I'm like, unique touch. But Sheamus had a match against Solo Sikoa of the Bloodline. And I'll be honest, first I gotta say, I definitely have been impressed with Solo so far. Again, I didn't see any of his work in NXT, although I think he was a babyface in NXT. So how he was as a babyface, I'm not sure. Unless Vince was trying to make him like the Roman Reigns of NXT as like a babyface or whatnot. But when I saw him come out for a match with Sheamus, first off, I gotta say, I do like his theme song. I am close to wanting to add Solo's theme song to my repertoire. Definitely once I get a good version of Bray Wyatt's new theme, that's going in. Oh man, I love that Shatter song by Code Orange. That is awesome. But I do like what I tweeted. Also, what I think is unique about Sikoa is that despite the fact that he's the Usos' brother, he is unique. Like he's got probably more of a style like his cousin Roman. He's more of like a powerhouse, and I like that. It's different for me. I honestly someday, and it does not have to be for the title on the line. It could be after WrestleMania. I think it would take place till after WrestleMania 39 at some point. But I honestly wouldn't mind seeing a match with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa someday. I think it would be good. Because even the idea of this match with Sikoa and Sheamus, I'm like, ooh. Sheamus has been on a roll lately. This would be a great match. And it was. I thought this was probably my favorite match on the show. It's very good stuff there. And of course we did, I think, got to get a little bit of involvement from the Bloodline, because Sami Zayn ran interference, but Solo though was able to, I guess, work on a bad arm of Sheamus, and then he then hits the spinning Solo Uranagi on him, and Solo gets the win. Afterwards, though, well, because also during the match, Sheamus did try, because last week the match came about because they were following up from last week on SmackDown in the Fatal 4-Way, whenever he did when Sheamus was going for the 10 beats of the Bound Room, he gave Solo Sikoa 26 beats of the Bound Room. And he tried to actually get him again with it, but Solo was like, you're not getting away with this again, basically, or whatnot. But, no, I thought this was a great match. Like, honestly, put these guys on pay-per-view. They had great chemistry together. Very physical. I liked it. But Solo wins. But afterwards, though, Jey Uso, the hothead, throws Sheamus out of the ring, and then the Bloodline just beat him down, and then they like, hold him down on the steps and put Sheamus's bad arm that got worked on in the match with a chair over it, and it took another chair and like holding it against the steel steps. They started wailing. I do the chair shots on the chair that had the arm trapped, and just like beat the crap out of Sheamus's arm. And of course, Sami Zayn's like, no, don't do it like this, don't do it like this. Which I'm like, why? I'm not sure why. You see, the only thing I gotta say that's still bothering me about the show is that I'm still so confused about the storyline that was going on with the Bloodline and Logan Paul. Because, like, okay, like, I think the story they're trying to tell here is that Roman's shown more faith in Sami Zayn than Jey Uso. Because, of course, Jey Uso has never trusted Sami Zayn. But Roman's trying to show he does trust Sami Zayn, although this could be a ruse, and for them to just stomp on Sami's heart whenever the time is right. That part, of course, is still one of the best things going on. But this whole stuff with, like, Logan Paul saying that Jey Uso's a hothead or something. It's like, so what? And Sammy's trying to, like, keep it under control. Like, I don't know. It's just something's a little off with that part. That part's still confusing me. Like, so what? So what if Logan Paul thinks that Jey Uso's the biggest hothead of the Bloodline? So the Bloodline knows that's not true. Why is Roman Reigns throwing a big fuss over it? I mean, and even so with this, it's like Jay's not like overpowering Roman Reigns, in my opinion. I don't know. It's just a little off. again, the stuff with Sami Zayn, though, of course, is just spot on. Like I said, it feels like they're building so much, like Roman's building so much trust in Sami Zayn that he's gonna just like break his heart, like at the highest note of this whole storyline. I feel like, but yeah, so yeah, they beat down on Sheamus. So a lot of people are wondering, is this a way of writing Sheamus off TV? Because a lot of people keep saying that Sheamus and Gunther need to have their third match at WrestleMania. Which I do agree, but how do you get there? So, I don't know if this is the writing Sheamus off for a while. I don't know. But even so, if he comes back, wouldn't he want to go after the people who took him out? That's why I'm wondering, too, like, maybe a WrestleMania match could be Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa. Maybe Solo gets the IC title down the line or something like that, and we do Sheamus and Sikoa. Or, if they want to do a triple threat, Gunther, Sheamus, and Sikoa? Woo! That's actually not a bad idea. That could be the case if they want to go that route. But, you know, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, interesting how they rid off Sheamus. And I also said, too, is I like how they're setting stuff up like this, but I'm still like, uh-oh. It's a moment where it's like, they're setting up like a beatdown like this, and then it's like, somebody could come out. Like, you get that feeling. Because, like, you know, you never know who is going to show up anymore since Triple H took over. Which, by the way, apparently Triple H is still home. He is still sick. Well, he's doing good, but he's still in the quarantine protocol. So he could be back next week. I'm hoping he's back next week. But I hear he is doing good. But, you know, neither here or there. So we have that. Then we get a recap of Rey Mysterio getting traded to SmackDown last week and earning his shot at the IC title, which is going to take place in 2 weeks on the Go-Ho show of SmackDown before Crown Jewel. We also get footage later of Imperium of Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. The way they say Giovanni Vinci, I don't know why. It makes me think of Poppy from Seinfeld. Because it sounds like how he would say it, too. I don't know why. Giovanni Vinci. We were talking to Rey Mysterio about how he's not going to survive against Gunther. Rey's like, I ain't looking for trouble. I just don't appreciate being disrespected. So if either one of them want a match, he's happy to throw down tonight. And Ludwig Kaiser, though, accepts the challenge. Then we have Bray Wyatt from somewhere backstage cutting this promo. He apologizes for not finishing last week, but he's going to now. You know, he was cutting that very emotional promo and whatnot that definitely had a lot of truth to it, showing a side again that we've never seen before. But he mentions, though, how revenge is a confession of pain, and he wants to confess some things to us today because he thinks it'll help. He has had problems, and he always has, and it's not hard for people to see. But there's a few of them. Anger. It takes him places he doesn't want to be, and it's taken him to a place he shouldn't have come back from. But for whatever reason, he gets chances other people don't get. This time, he was just content just being left alone. But he confesses he's really glad we didn't. We needed all of us to pull the spears from his ribs and yank him up and tell him what he had to do without telling us. And he's thankful for it. But now he sees and he knows is who we are and what we're trying to do. But it won't work. He says that on this journey, he will do horrible things. But we won't feel sorry for them. He's just a servant. And he'll go where the circle takes him. So now, Bray Wyatt, again, this is seeming like that split personality gimmick is what's happening. Because last week, I could have seen, if of course, you know, they would have done the whole, both promos, last week's promo and this promo last week, they could have seen Bray showing that emotional side. And then just like that, like, all like, you know, happy-go-lappy, you know, sunshine daisies, and all of a sudden, the fires of hell burn over. And it's this. He's like, yeah, so many horrible things. So, you still don't know. And then, of course, what I also like about this promo, even though I thought the volume was a little too hot for it, they were playing his new theme song, Shatter. But as like the promo got like darker, like the more fast paced do 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 do, like the music just like really flowed with the promo, I thought. So the question, of course, was who was Bray talking to? Who is like, you? Could have been us, or could have been one of these, another personality of his. Because later on in the show, we did get like another like devil vignette, and there was this QR code again. We're still doing QR codes, which I'm not going to complain about, but apparently I didn't get to scan it. When you do scan the QR code, it comes up with one of Bray Wyatt's psych evaluations. And it says on here, an authorization was obtained by a separate release of information consent form. Client signature refused to sign. Client interview, difficulty showing remorse or empathy, confident with social norms, and other disregarding of violating the rights of others. And then, there's the client ID in the corner, which is a phone number. And I guess when you called it, you heard this. So, again, it does sound like they're going with like a split personality thing for Bray Wyatt, which would be very fitting for him. I think he really could pull that off. Great. But also, during that second Devil's Vignette, we have this thing saying this thing. And then at the end, we see some guy. We don't see his face, just a hat. But he goes, "Howdy!" So I'm like, uh-oh, like... I said last week, and a lot of people are saying this too, people are hoping now that the Wyatt Six is not like Bray Wyatt and Dolph Ziggler and T-Bar and Dexter Lumis and Liv Morgan. Like, they're not stars we have now. But they're saying, what if it's just 6 different personalities of Bray Wyatt? If people thought, we would see like people would say, the emotional side, the Eater of Worlds, Firefly Funhouse, The Fiend, those 4 or 5 of them that we talked about last week. What if, like, there is legitimate names and it's, like, now it could be, like, 6 completely different personalities of Bray Wyatt. There's Uncle Howdy. People are calling him Uncle Howdy. Howdy! And I'm just like, oh boy. So, yeah, they're slowly giving us more and more Bray Wyatt each week. And the thing is, too, it's not like they're not rushing into the big hurrah, but it's like, I describe it as, it's baby steps, breadcrumbs. Like, we're just slowly following this path, and we're slowly getting more each week, which I like. It's not like Miz and Dexter Lumis that's been like the same thing every single week. That only this past week actually got a little bit further. We're slowly getting a little bit further each week, because apparently they have the whole Bray Wyatt thing mapped out, which they should. So, we'll see where this goes. And see, of course, who this Uncle Howdy guy is. But I am intrigued. So we have that. Then we have this promo backstage with the Bloodline celebrating Sol Sikoa's victory. And Jason, he's finally warming up to Sammy, and they crow about breaking Sheamus' arm. Every week, they're leveling up, and Sammy tells Sol that he's a gem, and he's doing so good. He sent the message to not just Sheamus, but to the entire locker room that nobody messes with the Bloodline. So, of course, that's why, of course, they did that. Sammy said enough. But also, Sammy, I think we made our statement for tonight. But, of course, they also know that Logan Paul is showing up tonight. And they want to get Logan Paul. But Sammy tells them that Roman Reigns told him not to get involved and wouldn't be very oozy of them. Jay smiles and agrees before shouting that he's a hothead And we'll just have to see what happens by the end of the night. So apparently Roman Reigns wants Logan Paul at 100% because Roman Reigns wants to show that Logan Paul is a joke. Which I like that idea, by the way, of showing that Logan Paul is a joke. But it doesn't make me care about this match at all. Oh, God. Then we had something else that I really enjoyed. Liv Morgan versus Sonya Deville. So last week, Liv Morgan had this vicious beatdown on Sonya Deville. I'm sorry, handed Sonya this very vicious beatdown. And I'm like, holy smokes. Like, let me first talk about Sonya Deville for a second. Yes, I'm not as big of a fan of her as I was back in 2020. Like, 2020, like, she's one person that really stood out to me during the whole empty arena era and whatnot. She was cutting, she proved that she cut a promo. She's improved a lot in the ring. It's just the story behind her is kind of like gone a little bit flat. Like, she was back and forth as like a face and heel whenever she first became general manager or official, and then she took advantage of her power. And then I think what really hurt her was that feud with Naomi, because again, it went on from August till February, all that time, and yet we still never found out what Sonya Deville has against Naomi. We just never found out why Sonya dislikes Naomi so much. But with that being said, though, in order for like a big, character development from a babyface that who knows if it stays babyface or if it goes like a different direction with it, I think she was the best person for Liv to give like these vicious beatdowns to. Because last week what she did, I'm like, holy smokes, that was actually cool. And then this match, same thing happened. I can't remember what happened was, but then I think it was towards the end of the match, Morgan was having a series of kicks, staggering her with an enziguri, step up knee, double jump, but Deville cleans her with a knee strike, and then a chest kick follows for a cover 2. She then pie-faced Liv, and she laughs, and then she demands Sonya to hit her, and she eats a series of slaps for her trouble. Double leg into wild punches, Deville covered up and running for the ropes and to the floor because it led Liv the snap, and then Liv just started beating her down into the barricade, the turnbuckles. Like she basically was beating down Sonya, and this it turned into from a wrestling match to an all-out vicious assault, or brawl on Sonya Deville. Like, as soon as she started, slamming Sonya all over the place, I'm like, okay, this is going to a double count out, which I'm like, okay, this is a double count I like, because it brought out that other side in Liv Morgan. So afterwards, she does the beatdown, throws Sonya back into the ring, and then grabs a bunch of steel chairs. And she takes Sonya up to the top rope and suplexes Sonya into the steel chairs, and then Liv just laughs and laughs and laughs. I like it. People are saying she's going with Harley Quinn on her, like they're doing what they did with Alexa Bliss, which may be a little more realistic, than what Alexa Bliss did, because there were so many things when Alexa Bliss had like the Harley Quinn type thing gimmick that to me it's like, okay, if it wasn't an empty arena where they could pre-tape things, they wouldn't be able to get away with stuff like this. So hopefully this time, if there is going like that Harley Quinn style, it'll be a little more realistic, but I love it. Like I said, like I keep saying, when Triple H took over, the one thing that I just think he had no control over trying to fix was Liv Morgan as SmackDown Women's Champion. So again, the best thing to do was just get the belt off her and hit the reset button. And that's what we've done. And so far, I like it. Like, I've watched these brawls and I'm like, holy smokes. Like, you can tell that Liv is beating the piss out of Sonya Deville. And Sonya is like the right person to take to get the right character, of course, to be getting that beating to, because she's good at generating that heat. So we'll see where this goes, of course, with Liv Morgan. Will this Liv Morgan eventually get another shot though at Ronda Rousey? Let's wait and see. But anyways, we also get another Viking Raiders vignette that's again teasing Sarah Logan coming back. Alright, then we get this segment here. Braun Strowman came out and basically says, "Oh, I'm not an easy guy to miss, and he's not hard to find if you got a problem." And here's how MVP is jawing him on Raw and telling him that Omos, and he's telling him the Omos to come down, look him in the eye of a real monster. MVP came out basically and says how, Braun is anything less than normal of a monster, because of that's what he is. And he serves at Omos because he's like, "Oh, you're the little man here. Omos is the big man." And then Strowman's like, "Then why don't we have a match at a Crown Jewel," in which MVP accepts on Omos's behalf. And Braun's like, "Well, why couldn't Omos come out here and accept that?" But he's like, "Whoa, what did you say Omos wasn't here?" Omos comes down and the two have a stare down. And yes, it did hit me that Omos is 7'3". Braun Strowman is only 6'8". So yes, Omos did tower over Braun. And then he gave him this very terrible looking push. Like Omos just like he couldn't even like make a push look good. But Braun Strowman like sold it like $1 million though. And he's like, okay, big boy, okay. But yeah, that's a match for Crown Jewel. I'm sorry, I don't care. Omos, I don't care. I don't care if he's bigger than Braun Strowman. I want Braun to kick his ass. Because he ain't it. Omos ain't it. Strowman's decent. Omos, you ain't it. So yeah, I don't care about that match. We were then told that Sheamus is being taken to a hospital. They'll try to get an update by the end of the show. And then we get a recap of what happened with the beatdown with Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross last week. Then Drew's being interviewed and says how Kross pushed him past his breaking point in Extreme Rules. But he did get called to W headquarters, and it was made very clear to him that if they get in each other's way again, there will be severe consequences. But they all agree that their feud has to end. So he challenges Karrion Kross to a steel cage match at Crown Jewel, which will be a decent match. I'm not saying I hate it, but I don't know. It's like with how hot this started at whenever Kross returned after SummerSlam. Does it feel like this feud's kind of taking a little bit of a back seat? Like we're getting a rematch from Extreme Rules, okay, but yes, we had the whole car accident angle, but it doesn't feel like this is like as big of a deal as it was before. It could just be me, but just my opinion. We had a match with Damage Control versus Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi Blackheart for the women's tag titles. The match was what it was. Damage Control gets the win to retain the titles. Okay, Damage Control is winning again, but again, now it's just like it's awkward. It's like I said, like Damage Control should have been winning. Like they should have won the women's tag title tournament. I get it, they wanted to swerve us because it was so obvious that Damage Control was going to win. Even though in their defense, okay, for the tag titles in their defense, they did protect them because they had Aaliyah roll up the wrong person. I'll give that a slide. Bayley losing to Bianca though at Extreme Rules was still a mistake, I thought, because even that, like I said, as singles stars, they were losing a lot of matches. But now though, of course, like, it's good that they're getting some wins. But of course, I'm still on the fence about this idea of my phone. I'm still on the fence about this idea on Raw on Monday that Bayley's going to take on Bianca in a non-title match. Like, why not just make that a title match? Because again, I'm not a fan of the idea of having them have a non-title match with Bianca still champion. Because of course, if Bianca wins again, then what's the point? But I also hate the idea of having to beat the champion to earn a title match. I don't like that idea. Like, again, have some other way for Bayley to get another title match. Like I said, the story, I mean, again, I appreciate at least they've acknowledged that they're acknowledging in the story that damage controls hit some speed bumps. But what are they doing differently, though, that makes them more dangerous than before? Because that's the thing. Like I said, I've cooled off. Because like I said, when they first came in, I was hot on the idea that they're doing a War Games match, which of course they're doing at Survivor Series. But now it's because of a couple of these missed opportunities. It's like I've cooled off a little bit on the War Games idea now with damage control. I'm not as interested as I was before. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Ronda Rousey has an interview backstage. She basically says she issues open challenges to prove she's the best, not to entertain us. She's not going to chase for fan approval when we all hate her, but she's the best, and we're stuck with the best. And next week she'll have an open challenge when she feels like it. So yeah, Ronda's back to being a heel, which yes, that's what she needs to be. I'm sorry, yeah, Ronda's a babyface, especially this time around. Like, it really felt like she was phoning it in for the longest time. As I keep saying, like, I'm sorry. And of course, it took her to, turn heel at SummerSlam for fans to treat her like the babyface. Because she felt like the babyface for a while, and Liv felt like the heel in their feud after SummerSlam. But yeah, we have not had a chance to see like a longer run with Ronda as a heel. Because she was only a heel for like, what, a month? Whatever, before she had stepped away after WrestleMania 35. Just a month. That's all we got. So, I'm intrigued to see where we go with Ronda. Of course, the problem is, though, is until we get to her and Becky, who does she have to fight in the meantime? Like who else is there? Because, like I said before, yes, could Liv get another shot at Ronda? But I'm thinking, okay, but if I think we've seen enough of that. Even if Liv has a fresh gimmick, we want Ronda to look good. I go look at her best going into her feud with Becky Lynch for WrestleMania. But also, I keep saying too, I don't know if that feud, well, unless if Becky costs Ronda her title, that could happen too down the line. Because Ronda and Becky, honestly, does not need to be for the title. I don't think. I think we're past the part where with a title being involved. That feud is just a match we've wanted to see for the longest time. One-on-one. We were supposed to get a Survivor Series 2018. We didn't because Becky got injured. And WrestleMania 35, they had to add in Charlotte. So, again, I don't think that feud needs a title. So, if somebody costs Ronda the title, okay, I can forgive that. As long as you don't make Ronda look weak. Because, like I said, too, like, you could put it back on Liv with this new gimmick as it crisps up more. But like I said, also, I don't want to, make Ronda look weak in return also. But we got that. Then we have a promo with Legado del Fantasma talking about how they're going to be getting stronger. Zelina's our newest acquisition, and how she's been successful at everything she's done. And they have no peers or competition. But then Santos says they're an unstoppable force fueled by tradition, legacy, and culture, and they're going to destroy Hit Row. Hit Row gets cut to backstage where Top Dollar is upset that they're supposed to be head and shoulders over everyone else when they're shorter than him. And then BF has an idea. And we're going to get a tag match, a 6-man tag match. Thank goodness we get to see Santos Escobar in action again. I definitely am much more intrigued by Santos Escobar than the rest of Legado del Fantasma. Because again, them by themselves, again, they just still feel like jobbers to me. But Santos Escobar, I love Escobar. But of course, we are going to get a tag match next week. And then it's good. And of course, Hit Row, which of course, if it would have been a 6-man tag and it's back in NXT days, it would have been Isaiah Swerve Scott. But he's over at AEW right now against Scissor Me Daddy and whatnot right now. So it ain't gonna be him. What if it was Rey Mysterio actually? Because next week they're gonna be having a mystery partner. So it could be Rey Mysterio. Although he is involved in the feud with Gunther at the time. And he's going to be, not next week, but in 2 weeks he's going to be fighting for the IC title. But you never know, they could tease a future match with Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio. Because Robbie pitched that idea last week in my stream. So that could be good. Speaking of Rey, we had a match with him and Ludwig Kaiser. It was solid. Rey Mysterio won. It did its job. Got Rey hyped up for this match against Gunther. And then we ended with Logan Paul coming out, running his mouth, saying he's confident in himself and his abilities. He doesn't need anyone else telling him he can't do it. He definitely doesn't have any friends like Sami Zayn. But he has a desire to be the best, blah, blah, blah. That one lucky punch, Jey Uso, bam, blasts him from behind and beats down on him and tries to do an ode to Rikishi in the corner. But then Sami Zayn rolls in and says, no, don't do this. Roman wants him at 100%. But then, of course, Jay fakes out leaving, goes back for Paul, but Paul steps out and there's one elbow strike and knocks out Jey Uso to end the show. That one lucky punch! I don't care. I'm sorry. Like, Crown Jewel so far. I mean, okay, well, first off, I'll give SmackDown credit. There was stuff I enjoyed. I did like the stuff with Sol Sikoa and Sheamus. That was great. The stuff with Liv and Sonya, I liked. I like seeing Ronda being booked like a heel again. That's good too. The Bray Wyatt stuff tribute, something. There was enough stuff on this show for me to give this show a B. But I'm sorry, Strowman and Omos, I don't care. The stuff with Rey and Imperium was, it was solid. It was decent. It did its job. The tag title match was decent. Like I said, they gotta give me something a little bit different, a little bit more with Damage Control, to get me to be as hyped about them as I was before. And then we did, and this stuff again with Roman Reigns, Logan Paul, like, I don't care. I mean, okay, credit where credit is due. I think they will in some ways try to get us to believe that Logan Paul could have beaten Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. But I still hate that idea. Because why in the freaking hell are they having Logan Paul get a world title match against the best world champion you've had in a long time after 2 stinking matches, one only being a singles match? Why? I don't like the idea. And again, this is still confusing me with this whole stuff with, how he's trying to cause tension in the bloodline. Like, I get it, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan, but, the match, if anything, Crown Jewel, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, I expect to steal the show. Crown Jewel, the rest of the matches will be decent. I think we'll get like a decent to solid Crown Jewel, I think, in my opinion. But of course, we'll see where it goes. And that, my friends, is SmackDown. Gave the show a B. There was still some stuff I liked on the show. A few things I was like, meh, but it's like, wasn't the end of the world to me. But it is what it is. Live chat, we just got JR. Did you hear about... I'm sorry. Again, it's nothing against you, JR, but I don't want to talk about CM Punk right now. I will not want to talk about CM Punk until this whole media scrub thing is finalized. Is he leaving AEW? Cool. Is he going to WWE? Whatever. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just so done with it. I am so done with all the CM Punk stuff. But with that being said, guys, I am going to check out here and skedaddle. Thank you guys for joining me live. Again, later on, I will hopefully have my next Roller Coaster Tycoon Let's Play uploaded. I am going to try, though. I have a lot of time tomorrow. I am going to try to get episode 5 of my Wolf 3D Let's Play done, because I am going to be starting the second half of this week. I'm going to be very busy. I'm going to be very busy for the next 2 weeks. So definitely some stuff may not be coming up as quick. Even though it's always the case, but my schedule's going to be very nuts over the next couple of weeks. So just bear patience with me. But I will at some point, like by Crown Jewel, it should be like, a little bit easier again. Well, at the time. So if push comes to shove, I still want to do a Crown Jewel prediction, and I still also want to do a Crown Jewel review, but of course all the other show reviews, around it. If I have to do it before, like the preview predictions before I review Raw or SmackDown, I may just have to do that for Crown Jewel if the card is set. So we'll see how that goes. But guys, thank you for joining me live here for my SmackDown review. Again, I gave the show a B. What are your guys' thoughts on SmackDown for this week? Make sure to leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. And until then, guys, I am checking out. I'm going to catch you all later. Have a great rest of your Saturday. And peace out, everybody.